I'm going to be sharing with you 3 easy steps to start doing water changes like a pro. I've always found that people think that water changes are disgusting and hard to do for in your aquarium, but I think that with this video you can find a great easy way to do it. I'm going to keep this simple. I'm going to show you how to do this in 3 simple steps. The first step is what you want to do before you even start the water change. This is the basic stuff that you should always do before you begin your water change. This will include stuff like feeding your fish, removing any debris from your aquarium, scrubbing away algae, and any other maintenance that you would like to do in your aquarium. First thing I suggest doing is feeding your fish. By feeding your fish before you do your water change, any waste that's created from uneaten food that gets taken out immediately. This is just one less thing for you to worry about. By doing it beforehand, there's less waste in your aquarium, and it means your fish are overall healthier. Another thing you should do before you actually start removing water is you should remove the algae off the sides. Algae is harmless in your aquarium, it just looks bad. So by removing it, all you're doing is creating an extra step for yourself, but especially if you have a display tank like the one behind me here, then you definitely are going to want to remove it for your own sanity. The result of algae in your aquarium may just be from poor water quality like high nitrates or high nitrites, or it could be from too much light. There could be many causes for algae which you might want to look into separately. If you have a cleanup crew in your aquarium, they will remove any algae for you beforehand. I would suggest that you be aware that you will need to do more frequent water changes to keep up with it. This isn't always the best choice for most aquariums, especially if you have a smaller aquarium, where more life forms mean that there's more waste, which means more water changes or these larger water changes. And it's just something you have to be aware of when you're planning for water changes and what stocking you have. I think snails are a pretty good go-to, in my opinion, in most aquariums. A snail is small, they don't produce a lot of waste, and they'll clean up your algae quite well. Shrimp also make a pretty good cleanup crew, and they will look great in your aquarium, and they'll clean up any waste that your fish release. I would avoid plecos for a cleanup crew. They are quite commonly recommended as part of a cleaning crew, but they really aren't that great because they produce a lot of waste. It's a lot more efficient for you and your time to just scrape off the algae yourself, or get a shrimp or snail cleanup crew instead. This is a good time to check on all your stuff, make sure everything's working properly, and make sure that your fish look healthy. Your heater can easily malfunction, especially if it is left out of water, so make sure it is still operating properly. Check the temperature. If your heater is operating incorrectly, the temperature will be off, and by doing it beforehand, you know what you want to shoot for. Make sure your filter is working well as well. It should be flowing well, and the water should be coming out at an even pace. If it is dirty inside, you can change it, but I wouldn't recommend doing it too often. Only do it every 3rd week or whatever. Make sure you never do it at the same time as Gravelvac, but we'll get to that later. Another thing that this is a great time to check is if your fish are sick. If your fish are sick, then they're going to be on the ground, or they'll be swimming in weird ways, or they'll have weird growths on them, or whatever it could be, and this is a great time to check because you're already looking at your tank. Make sure all the fish look healthy. You also can check if any of your plants need trimmings. This is only a thing if you have live plants, but if they do need a trim, another great time to do that. This is a step that is really important, and that is you want to turn off your stuff, okay? You gotta turn off your heater, you gotta turn off your filter. If you have any pumps running, you gotta turn that off too. If you leave them on, then they will overheat or other issues could occur, and that will cause them to break, which will be a big issue for you, especially if you don't notice. Now that the pre-work is done, you are ready to start actually removing water. First thing you gotta do is you just gotta get a siphon. You can get ones that are for sale anywhere. The one on my website is pretty great. The Python water system is pretty great. You gotta make sure it's clean beforehand. Make sure that it is not have any visible debris. It shouldn't have any non-visible debris either, so just rinse it before. Make sure your fish cannot get sucked up. You can do this with mesh or with some kind of barrier, or just a small enough siphon will do the trick as well. Next, you want to get a clean bucket to put the water in, and now you can start siphoning. To start the siphon, you just need to suck on the siphon and it will start flowing as long as there is gravity. Don't do what I did, and make sure that you take the siphon out of your mouth before the water gets to your mouth. If you don't want to suck on it and don't want to get it stuck in your mouth like I did, then you can just buy the Python water change system available on my website. You can completely skip the sucking part and you just start it off right away. Every 3rd or 4th time that you change the water, you want to siphon the gravel and change the filter. Now you don't want to do these at the same time because you could kill off a lot of bacteria, which could crash your tank. Each time you do a water change, you want to remove between 20 and 30% of the water in your aquarium. By removing this, it's about the right amount to make sure that there's a low enough level of ammonia where it's not harmful. Removing less may cause a buildup of toxic chemicals in your aquarium. It's great to remove more, but make sure you don't remove too much, and make sure that the water coming in is close enough parameters where the fish won't be shocked once they're in the new water. Dump out the water and clean the bucket with just water, and we can go on to step 3. This is one of the easiest, if not the easiest steps in the process, but you don't want to skip it and you don't want to get lazy. You might be getting anxious for your day to be on with the water change, but you just got to focus on it because this is a really important step. So you got to fill up a bucket, obviously with tap water. The temperature should be as close to the temperature in your tank as possible. You can just feel it with your hands to decide if it's close enough. You shouldn't need to do any more than that. If you're on city tap, you're going to have to dose the water with dechlorinators. A good dechlorinator would be something like Quick Start. There are also stuff like Stressco, and there's also Fritz water conditioner. There's tons of stuff that you can get as water conditioners. Just do research on what's best for you. Most people won't need to do this part. If your water is really low pH or really high pH, you can dose stuff into the water to make it at the right level. You can find it on my website. Do research as well. If you pour the water in too quickly, you may cause your aquascape to be undone and your fish to become stressed. To do this, you can slowly pour the water right over your hand instead of directly into the tank, and if you do it slow enough, it will be completely fine. No need to worry about your aquascape or your fish's health. Once the water is back in the aquarium, you can turn on all your equipment again and wait for the water to clear back up because it will probably be cloudy. We have a system that is completely automatic. It completely does the water change for us. We don't have to do anything other than take the water out and it will fill back up by itself. With this system, it's really easy for us to do water changes and super efficient, so we can do more frequent ones than you probably will be able to. These systems are pretty cool, but if you are not having multiple aquariums, you just have one, they don't make a lot of time sense and they don't make a lot of money sense. I hope this helped you to understand how to do a basic water change with some basic steps. In general, it's not that complicated of a thing to do, but it is important to do it right. If you have anything to add or any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'll answer as many as I can. Like and subscribe to see more videos like this, and thanks for watching.